It was a crisp Saturday afternoon in Oakridge, an affluent suburban neighborhood where manicured lawns stretched endlessly, and the sound of children's laughter mixed with the occasional hum of passing cars. 16-year-old Jaden Carter had just finished basketball practice and decided to take a shortcut home through the quiet residential area. He wore a navy hoodie with his school's emblem, loose athletic shorts, and a backpack slung over his shoulder. As he walked past a row of upscale houses, he stopped for a moment to check his phone. The sound of a dog barking from behind a picket fence caught his attention. Daisy McAllister, a middle-aged white woman in designer yoga attire, was standing on her porch, arms crossed, watching him with narrowed eyes. She had never seen Jaden before, and in her mind that was enough reason to be suspicious. "What are you doing here?" she called out, her tone sharp and demanding. Jaden turned, confused. Just heading home." Daisy's eyes darted to his hoodie, then his backpack, then back to his face. "I don't think so," she muttered before pulling out her phone. Without hesitation, she dialed 911. "I'd like to report a suspicious individual," she said hurriedly, her voice dripping with fake distress. "A young black male is lurking in my neighborhood, and I don't feel safe." Jaden heard her words and felt his stomach tighten. His parents had prepared him for moments like this, but no amount of preparation could stop the sting of being racially profiled. He raised his hand slightly, not wanting to escalate the situation. "Ma'am, I live 2 streets down," he said, keeping his voice calm. But Daisy ignored him, stepping further onto her porch. "Stay right there," she ordered, as if she had any authority. "The police are on their way." A few minutes later, sirens wailed in the distance. 2 police cruisers screeched to a stop, and officers stepped out, hands hovering near their holsters. "Put your hands where we can see them," one of the officers barked. Jaden swallowed hard, his heart hammering. "I didn't do anything," he said, but the officers moved in, grabbing his backpack and forcefully patting him down. Daisy stood back, arms folded, satisfied that she had done her part to protect her neighborhood. Then a sleek black SUV appeared at the end of the street, moving fast. It came to a sharp halt, and before anyone could react, the back door flung open. A tall black woman in a tailored navy blue pantsuit stepped out. Her presence alone commanded attention. Her heels clicked against the pavement as she strode toward the officers with an air of authority. It was Judge Olivia Carter. The moment Daisy saw her, her face drained of color. Judge Carter was one of the most respected federal judges in the country. She had built a reputation for being fiercely intelligent, unshakable in the face of injustice, and a champion for civil rights. She was also Jaden's mother. "What's going on here?" she asked in a tone so sharp it made even the officers stand at attention. One of them hesitated. "Ma'am, we received a report of a suspicious individual." "That suspicious individual is my son," Olivia interrupted, her voice icy. "You're telling me that in broad daylight, in his own neighborhood, my son was profiled, detained, and searched without cause?" The officers glanced at each other uneasily. "Ma'am, we were just responding to a call." Olivia turned to Jaden, her expression softening slightly. "Are you okay?" Jaden nodded, though his jaw was tight with frustration. Then Olivia turned to Daisy. "Did you call the police on my son?" Daisy's lips parted, but no words came out. She looked around as if searching for an escape. I didn't know he was your son," she stammered. Olivia raised an eyebrow. "So if he weren't my son, would it have been acceptable?" Daisy's face turned beet red. "I was just trying to be cautious. He looks suspicious, and He looks suspicious because he's black," Olivia finished for her. "Let me be clear. What you did today wasn't caution, it was prejudice." Daisy opened her mouth to protest, but Olivia wasn't finished. "This is exactly the kind of behavior that destroys lives," she said, her voice unwavering. "Black teenagers can't even walk home without being treated like criminals." The officers, now clearly aware of who they were dealing with, quickly released Jaden. "Ma'am, we apologize." "No," Olivia said, turning her sharp gaze toward them. "An apology isn't enough. I will be filing a formal complaint for this baseless harassment. And as for you, Ms. McAllister," she said, turning back to Daisy, "I suggest you think long and hard before you make another phone call like this, because next time, it might not just be your reputation that's ruined, It might be your entire future. Daisy took an uneasy step backward, her hands trembling. I, I didn't mean... Save it, Olivia said coldly. I hope you learn from this. With that, she took Jaden's arm and led him toward the SUV. As they drove off, Jaden finally let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. Mom, thank you, he murmured. Olivia reached over and squeezed his hand. You shouldn't have needed me to step in, she said softly, but until this world changes, I will always be here to fight for you. And in that moment, Jaden knew that no matter what, he had one of the most powerful forces on his side, his mother.